Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Ava, aka Queen Midas, Life Alchemist, and we are back, Liz, Olive, and I, for another episode of Freeing the Feminine. And today we're going to be talking about manifestation. How you doing today, Liz?
I'm good. That was funny. We didn't even talk about who was going to start.
Right.
Way to take the lead. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Enjoying the heat out here. So yeah, I'm having a good time.
I'm literally wearing a sweater because it's cold
I
here.
know. Yeah. We were just talking about the automatic switch of the seasons with you.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. I was like Truman Show-esque. Someone just flipped a switch on the 22nd and was like, it's fall now. And everybody just went along with it. And I'm like, wait a second. Like, can I have like a little transition? Like, I'm like wearing a sweater in my house. What is this?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's never been like this ever. Like, I feel like it's like global warming my foot. What is that even? There's no way. Because, like I said before, it's like a lot of times it's 80 degrees until November here, where we have off and on weather or whatever, but it's been consistently 40 in the morning, 75 at the high throughout the day. And it's never been like that my entire life. So
Yeah.
don't really understand what's happening, but I'm going with it, I guess. You got to.
Isn't fall your favorite though?
Yes. Well,
You have to think about it now.
I like every season except for winter.
Yeah.
I like them all. I do like summer a lot, but I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't like the clothing associated with summer because I've never like known how to dress my body basically in summer. And I feel like that's how a lot of something a lot of women struggle with. Um, because, especially down in the South, it's like less is more kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was just never like super comfortable with that growing up in a conservative family and household and then on top of it just having like a war with my body most of my life. But you know I like fall and spring for the fact that I can just wear like basically a cardigan over my normal clothes.
Yeah.
And I love boots too. I was wearing some combat boots today, felt real powerful. It was great. Yes. These boots were made for walking.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also love like this cardigan. It goes all the way to the ground. Like I feel like I'm wearing a cape. It's like
Yeah.
I feel my power, my power coming back when I can put on my cape and my combat boots.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything new with you? Any updates on, do you want to share updates on the house or the baby?
Sure. I actually just recorded a video today, so there'll be another video of me talking about this. Very impromptu. I like showed my house what it looks like currently because it's still in the same state that it's been. Just completely gutted. I haven't had a kitchen for 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
And that means we've been spending lots of money on food. And my body does not like that because of seed oils and all that stuff. Even if I do try to eat healthy, you just never really know what they're putting in that stuff. And I like have never been a eating out person ever my entire life. Anyways, but my kitchen is still the same, but I did have some movement on we met with the drywall person that's going to put all the drywall back that they ripped out, and also possibly creating the island in the middle, or at least tearing down the wall so the island can be built in the middle, which is the goal if it's not too expensive. I think we'll be able to do it, but we're going to get an estimate on that. And then we've got like 4 other sections or 3 other sections of work with that island thing that will make it the deciding factor of whether or not we can actually go through with it or not. So gotta have a few more meetings and everything, and we're moving into a temporary housing. Probably next week, most likely. And that'll be nice to actually just like be somewhere and not be in this kind of like limbo stage. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I'm 33 weeks pregnant at the moment. And which is 33 is my favorite number, so that's exciting. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's all just kind of like, well, just wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, you're getting movement though. That's awesome.
It
That's
is.
good stuff. Okay.
Do you want to share anything about your life?
Oh yeah, so I've been really social lately. It's been a lot of fun. It's been like it's been weird because I spent the past year like not really going out or like where I was, I didn't know anyone. So I hadn't been going out, I hadn't been hanging out with people, felt really disconnected. And then I'm back somewhere familiar with a lot of people that I know. So it's like catching up, going out, catching live music. I went to a baseball game on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. Brunch on Sundays and just like it's been good. Seeing family, taking time out to rest. I got to connect with one of my subscribers turned clients, turned now friend, which is cool. Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Super, super beautiful soul. So her and her daughter, I got to meet her daughter Bree. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to, taking it really easy. And it's been hard to do that. And I've been like, oh my God, I have to like, we talked about this before, but I'm still struggling with it. But I feel like I'm in this like transition phase of like phasing out of not posting really anything to like slow, like picking it back up. But I feel, as we've talked about before, like I feel like it was me having to be totally shaken out of that masculine survival mode. Like I have to perform, I have to do this, that, the other, da 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 da. People are waiting on me. I have to, like feeling almost pressured to perform, but not pressured by anybody. It was pressure that I was putting on myself. Like these perceived expectations from other people. And yeah, so that's been and that's how I've operated a lot of my life, the majority of my life. So to have like essentially like hit a wall and have to just like sit on my butt and like chill for however long this has been, it's been like really since like Lionsgate around that time. So almost 2 months.
Are you there?
Where it's just been really sporadic posting for me. And am I freezing?
You came back.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Okay, cool. Just really sporadic posting and like here and there. And honestly, it's been like an energy thing too. Like I haven't had not that I've been like super physically drained. It's been like almost an emotional, mental drain type thing where like I could easily pick up the phone and like post to my Telegram or post to my community page or something, but it's like I have not had the mental bandwidth to do those things. Yeah. I have to be okay with being okay with that.
Right. Yep. I totally understand. I feel like once this happened with Levi, when I was pregnant with Levi, that once I hit that 30-week mark, like everything was just like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, I just want this baby out of me. Like, nothing matters. Like, I just don't care. like that's, and then I've felt it hit this time too. I'm like, I'm really trying to be consistent with something, but at the same time, I just don't care. Like, I feel like my life's about to, it's like that calm before the storm thing. I feel like my life's about to literally flip upside down. So like what almost like what's the point of, like keeping things going on this one track when I know it's about to just go boop, like that,
Yeah.
that's very much what pregnancy does to me. I don't know if it does that to anyone else. I feel like it probably does, but that kind of sounds like what you're going through too, because I think I said this before. I'm physically pregnant, you're spiritually pregnant.
Totally spiritually pregnant. Like, this is so weird. And, for the men listening, here we go. Okay. By the way, women, comment down below if you feel similar to the way that Liz feels at your certain points in your
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that mark where it's like, I just want to hit the finish line. Like, I don't
Yep.
care.
I have senioritis at this point. Like, done. Doesn't matter.
So this is, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I actually thought about what you just said, how you're physically pregnant and I'm like spiritually pregnant right now.
Yeah.
And I've been having all these ideas for shops, like a shop, or different types of shops, and then products and content and coaching stuff. And it's like still incubator phase. And it's again, like I feel like I need to do and get stuff out there because the people are waiting on me and where have you been, and and it almost feels like this like stuck phase for me, but it's not stuck. It's like still the butterfly in the cocoon, or the caterpillar in the cocoon. And I had this weird thought, like, what if getting into like a birthing position, like help and like visualizing stuff,
Yeah.
helped with the birthing process? It popped into my head.
Oh, while you're saying that, my ear just rang like insane. That's why I pointed at my ear.
That's what I wondered. Was it wisdom?
This is my left ear, so I feel like that's a different meaning. I don't know what. I don't know. I need to Google it real quick. This one, the right ear is usually a spiritual being, I think.
Yeah.
The left ear is, I think, something different. I forgot.
Yeah, I saw you point and I was like, geez.
I was like, dang loud. Like it felt like a microphone like thing.
That's what I was like. I was wondering if you had headphones in, because
No.
it looked like you were like,
no. I was like, what is that? Well, that's got to be some kind of confirmation.
I was just about to say that. Okay, well, I need to get in my deep squat and like visualize.
There you go, birthing it out.
Because I keep a home birth too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I keep having like, which I didn't envision this with Levi because I didn't know what to expect at all. But like literally, I think I said this in the last one. I was like, I keep having like visions of me like lifting my completely surrendering, and like the baby coming out, and birthing. And that's not what I did last time. So yeah, so that would kind of go, because I feel like with this child, I mean, the world literally changed with my last child. And we're on track for that to happen again, quite honestly, which is crazy. I'm like, what are these children, Dad? Who are they? Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're markers of some sort. They're markers of change, because Levi was born. A week later, the world shut down. And it was like everybody was in postpartum recovery with me. Like the world was doing the exact same thing I was. Yeah. And it's just funny because who he is like, compared to the other kids that were born around the same time, he's starkly different. And they all have issues. All of the parents are having, because I've talked to tons of parents at like the playgrounds we go to, because we go to a playground pretty much every day. And their kids that are the same age have trouble communicating, have trouble making friends, are really shy. Like, and then here's my Levi just making friends with absolutely everyone, adult or child of any age, and wanting to talk and communicate. And like, they're like, how old is he? Like, he's so like, like, when was he born? I was like, he's born literally like a week before the pandemic. And they're like, really? Like, he turned out so well. I'm like, Yeah, he did. Like, I can't tell you how many kids his age are like vastly like different than him. So we are on track for me to have another baby.
Yeah,
Just ushering in this change that we're going through. Um,
definitely. Come on with it.
yeah,
UK banks doing crazy things.
right.
Lizard lady, she out
Yeah.
publicly. Um, also, there's the storm in Florida that is, there's a lot of interesting elements to it. And
Mhm.
where it's directed, some of the information or people that are saying where it's going and what it might be washing away. And, so there's that whole thing, which makes it feel like there is
Yeah.
finally things that have been happening in the spiritual showing on a physical level with those
Yeah.
three big events. And I'm sure there's more that's been going on. It came out that the Prince Charles's coronation is going to
Hmm.
be put off. Didn't they say for like 2 months maybe?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is not normal.
Hmm.
So that's an interesting thing as well. So definitely there's feels like a shifting of an age
Yeah.
again. So
There's a lot happening. And it kind of felt the same way like when I was about to give birth to Levi. It was like I kept hearing things happening like in different areas like all over, and I was like, what is happening? I remember just thinking like, because no one knew, and at this point, I mean, I was all into all this stuff anyways, but at the same time, like I was hearing it from my dad that was watching mainstream media, and I was like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
Like just all this kind of stuff, and like not believing that the whole sickness thing would happen and like or be that big of a deal or whatever. And then it just kept coming and kept coming. It was like it literally was like a hurricane.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, this is real. Like, oh, like this is
it's
actually changing the
happening.
entire world. Like we are
Yeah,
completely shifting. What is going on? Um, and then I had my son and literally everything changed. Everything. Like I don't know how to be a mom without the world being crazy, which is kind of strange to think about.
it also means you're equipped for it. So
I guess so.
absolutely. Oh, two more things, and then we'll get into manifestation. But you know what? It makes sense with what the new season, new moon, new month, whatever. So that's what we're going to touch on. But you talked about the money, the three
Mhm.
biggest currencies, the
Yeah,
most popular currencies in the world,
the
all
strongest ones.
are all like level
Yeah, they're almost completely level playing fields
exchange
now.
rate, right? Yeah, so that's a big thing. Um, and then I believe like sometime last week, DJT not, I don't think he's on Twitter yet, or
Probably Truth Social.
probably Truth, where he said the storm is upon us. And there was something in the drops that talked about when he would be saying that, then like certain things would start possibly
Yeah.
happening. So that just gave me chills to say that.
Yeah.
So,
And the fact that there's an actual storm
yes.
and yeah, like you were saying, like the water, it's like no matter if that storm hits all of Florida or not, it's gonna at least flood, everything.
Mhm.
And the whole
Mhm.
watch the water thing. And then, I was talking to you about what's over there and like, that special magical place that's over there.
Yeah.
And all the like underground city things they have in that place. Um,
And all the
most likely.
billionaires that live over on that coast, the East Coast too, that had
Yep.
places with tunnels.
Yep. So it's all just kind of, it feels very much like that. Like everything, there's like things everywhere. It's like, take your pick. Like things are happening everywhere, but they haven't like interconnected just yet. But they're like I see the little like spider web connecting. I'm like, ooh, this is getting good.
Definitely interesting.
But I will say that, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the end of October. That special date, Mr. 107, um, he put out, and a lot of people are really scared of it now. But I will,
1031.
huh?
1031.
No, I think he said 1028 or 29. It's exactly
Oh,
from now.
oh, okay.
Or he said a little bit before or a little after. Like he said that date and then he said could be before, could be after, kind of thing. But a lot of people are really
Yeah.
afraid. But I feel like I feel like um the whole goal of the good guys is not to traumatize us and not to because that's what the other side does,
Mhm.
to gain control. And that's not the goal of the good guys. So keep that in mind.
Mhm.
I don't think things are going to be as bad as what everybody thinks they're going to be. There might be confusion for a few days, but I just have a hard time believing in the fear porn of it all.
Same.
So just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyways.
Thank you. With that being said, it is highly critical that we pay, attention to our thoughts and the energy that we're operating in. So we're making sure that we're moving in love and ideally unconditional love for ourselves and others, and staying out of the fear, low vibrational fear, anger, anxiety, which is what breeds the trauma and the negative timeline stuff. So this is a really interesting time right now. We just shifted into a new season last weekend. Along with that, there was a new moon, which is a new moon in Libra. So it's bringing in the Libran season, and the Libra is the holder of the scales, like the justice, which is so, so cool because that's, we're talking about all that stuff that was shifting and changing, all these big events, justice, balance, karmic balance, shifting of power and whatever. So there's like so much significance in my mind to that new moon that just came in that energy of balance and order and justice. So new moons are great times for setting intentions, because if you think about it, a new moon is like a blank slate. It's like the full moon's wrapping stuff up, reevaluating things that you can shift out of or close up or walk away from, and then planting new seeds. And same thing with a new month. It's like setting new goals, setting new habits, reevaluating morning routine. What am I going to shift in my eating? What am I going to shift in my mindset? So it's just so much beauty and so much like fertile ground right now that it would be great to take advantage of it. And I feel like it'd be wise to take advantage of it. So maybe let's talk about the phases of manifestation.
Yeah, so I sent Ava a TikTok video not that long ago where they were basically talking about how the kind of the lull time of when things aren't really happening and you're not really motivated to, speak things out, like write your intentions down, manifest things, whatever, is just as important as when things are manifesting, because you can't have that high point without the low point. You can't complete the circle, and it essentially goes in a circle like that. Like you'll have this real like high time where like all of these manifestations that you've put in place are like coming true, and then you'll kind of go back down and it kind of slow down just a little bit, and then it's time to kind of reevaluate and set new ones and tweak ones that you've been saying, because I think it's very important to be very specific and know exactly what you want because that's something like that I've been continuing to learn is like it's kind of God universe will kind of give me things and it'll be exactly what I asked for. But I realized I was not being super detailed and not knowing exactly what I wanted. And so it was given to me in a different way than what I actually like imagined. It was almost like I was scared to ask, like scared to be too specific in case. And I feel like my relationship with God is very much, he's like, no, what do you want? Tell me exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Think about it in detail and tell me, you know, tell me like think about it like all the way around in every different way and tell me what exactly you want to happen and don't be afraid to. And I mean, that comes out of a lot of, I think, religious programming and trauma and stuff like that. Just kind of be like, whatever you want, God. And he's like, no, what do you want? I gave you desires for a reason. What do you want? Tell me. I think of that scene in the Notebook. What do you want?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
He's like, no, what do you want? But yeah, so I feel like that's kind of something I've been learning is to be okay with the times like we're in right now, like you were talking about with Libra, where it's, good to reevaluate and set and tweak maybe the intentions and the manifestations that you're working on, so that they're better before. Maybe that's why they haven't come true, is because you need to tweak them. You need to like really focus and hone in and say exactly what you want, so that the next time the wheel goes around, they actually have the support and the detail to play themselves out.
Yeah. That makes total sense. I definitely feel like that's been a phase that I've been in.
Yeah, I mean, me too. We both were like, we kind of been spiritually relaxed.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks or so. And that's exactly, like you said that the other day, I was like, that's exactly how I feel. I haven't been doing much of anything.
Girl, we were getting it before, like
yeah,
it's like going in. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, but like with anything, I mean, the seasons rest, like it's not always spring or summer, like, and not always fruitful. And you need that, like the wheel within the wheel kind of thing. You need that mix of like, it's kind of like I did a video on cycles, the other day. And it's kind of like that. It's like be aware of where you are in the cycle of your life and manifestation, I think is like one of the most powerful things that you could be aware of, because then really where you're at and where like the direction, you can kind of steer the direction of your ship any way you want, if you're aware of what part of the journey you're in.
Yeah, there's more, and we're in more power.
Yeah,
it's not like scattered energy. We can be more focused and intentional in our movement through that. That's so true. And like you said, like the bottom part of the cycle is so necessary for recalibration and recharge, because I feel like if we were to just keep manifesting and pulling stuff down and into reality, to me that feels like it would be like adrenal overload,
I was literally thinking spiritual obesity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wow.
I was like, because if you're just constantly consuming essentially, and you never like work anything outward, it's kind of like the lower point is to work things out. It's like you get to this high point and then you're like, oh my gosh, like I have all this new level of whatever things, spiritual maturity, whatever it is you're manifesting. And then it's like going back around to the low point to see if like you really can handle it, essentially. And then if you can handle it, then you're kind of go back up the wheel and you can, get more, or you just repeat the cycle, and manifesting is very much a cycle. Um, and it's funny because I feel like as women, we have almost a better understanding of it because we have a actual cycle. Like, we have, our menstruation cycle. And a lot of people connect those two together. Like I've heard people talk about how like, like obviously when you're ovulating, it's a great time to manifest. And, and then when you're releasing, that's the low point of the cycle where like you don't need to be manifesting, you just need to release. And then you go back up. And we as women are much more aware of cycles than men are for the most part because they have a very different cycle and they don't have an external representation of an internal cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard of that, like that correlation. That makes sense. Awesome. Okay, so what about how does detachment play into manifestation? Like detachment from results, detachment from how things should play out. I mean, I guess that's similar to results. And we talked about it. Okay, so I just asked you the question and I was just about to answer it.
You're good.
Okay, I'll keep going.
No, I thought you were gonna go. I was like,
okay. Would you
Go
like
ahead.
to know? Here it is. Okay. So
rhetorical, it's fine.
So I feel like I want to go two ways with this. So there's a detachment of there's a balance in the detachment. Like knowing where we have the power to co-create versus sitting back and being too lax about it and not tapping into our co-creative power. Mm-hmm. So there's the having too much of a grip on things and how things should play out and exactly what it needs to look like. It makes complete sense to make have a vivid picture of what we want to bring into our reality and what we want it to feel like and blah, 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 blah. I don't know that actually I feel like the road to getting there and like exactly how it needs to come in is what we need to just be like cool with, because that's where we start getting too grippy and too like we suffocate. It's like pinching a water hose, it's like I want all these things and I want this to flow in, but it has to be exactly this way. And it's like I think of like a handshake, where it's like there's that right balance where it's like a firm handshake, or there's one that's way too loose, or there's one that's like, gripping. And it's like that just feels like super aggressive. And it's like, who wants to actually like be with, like interact with somebody who just tried to kill their hand, what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if that made any sense, but
oh yeah, it does. I thought of like giving someone a present and like not letting go of it. Yes. Like, here, take it. I can't let go.
I'm not grabbing it, you're grabbing it.
It's like an Indian, like that term Indian giver. It's like, like don't be an Indian giver with your manifestations. Because there's a level of like, keeping it in your mind and like having that be the goal and the direction and everything. And then there's like obsessing over it. And it's like, chill. And I'm speaking to myself and mostly my younger self with that because I was ridiculous. But at the same time, like there was like when I was younger, there was no real balance of doing what I could and letting it go and not and like obsessing over it, like it was like I was doing all of it. So it would work sometimes and sometimes it wouldn't. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things of like, I think about how like what I'm doing now with my life is very much everything I wanted to do as a child, but it looks so different than what I thought it would. And now that I've gone through what I've gone through, I'm really thankful that it has looked different, and it's not what I expected it to be, because I've grown way more and matured a lot more as a person, than I probably would if it had gone the other direction.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, it's a really hard balance, quite honestly, and it's something I'm definitely still learning, to the extent of like, I just really want it to happen, and I'm like, just I mean, I kind of think honestly becoming a mother has helped me a lot with this like concept, because like having a child, you want them to grow up and like be like a good human being. You know, you want them to have morals and like treat people well, and have respect and trust themselves and like everything. And even though my child is only 2, I like have this I can see where what I am teaching him without trying to teach him is teaching him. He's going in that direction. And it's like, I might want him to do this, but it's up to him to decide to do it. Like he's still his own person.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I feel like that with manifestations, it's like, I can give you all the tools to be this, but I can't control it if you are or if you aren't.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
So with manifestations and with like keeping a dream or something you want to manifest into your life, it's like, I'll give you everything I can possibly put into it. Here you go. And then there's that trust that you build with God and universe to work it out in the way. That's why being specific is really important, and making sure you have everything that you can put in place to where you can let go and like have that float down the river and hopefully meet up with it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a weird way, I feel like I've already learned that from my child, which is kind of crazy because he's only 2. But yeah.
So as you were talking, it made me think of the serenity prayer. And that's I was looking it up on my phone. So this is a perfect example of the balance, like that delicate balance in manifestation. And I think the issue with knowing how to like speak or write or intend what we want versus and like knowing how to let go of it, we're not taught that delicate balance in church, in life, in and not in normal situation. I feel like most people don't really know that, and that's where the struggle is with uh being able to create and live the life that they want to live. And that, and then the way that our language is spelled, and we literally speak curses over ourselves over and over again. So there's that whole aspect too, which is a totally different topic. But I'm going to read the serenity prayer really quickly. So it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So the courage to change the things I can, that's like taking the time to really get quiet, be real with ourselves, assess all of our resources, the tools in our tool belt, like what background knowledge we have, what experience we have, what people we know, what we can physically do, to help ourselves first before we're like just crawl into the cradle and we're like, please help me, God. You know what I mean? So, babies. So it's like, what can we do to help ourselves first and identify those things? So courage to change the things that I can, the serenity to accept the things that I cannot. Like there's just some things that are out of our control, and that's awesome because that's where the spirit is able to move. And we're trying to put our hands in every little thing and like control every little thing, which I'm so guilty of that, being having been a type A person, and like I'm gonna make plan A, B, C, D, X, Y, taking our hands off, because when we do that, we acknowledge the limitlessness of source, creator, God, the universe. And because we can only see in our like human pea brain minds, you know, even when we're tapping into our intuition and stuff, we still have a limited view. We still have some blinders, but when we let it go, we can tap into infinite possibility where anything can happen, where miracles are normal, where possibilities are endless, you know, and that's
Yeah.
where the beauty happens. Like I'm just going to use this example because you wanted a remodeled kitchen and you had no idea that it was going to happen the way it is happening. And then like plans of having a home birth, and it's like there's still a blessing in that because you still are going to have the opportunity to have a home birth, but not necessarily where you thought you were going to have it.
Wasn't specific enough.
Yeah. So, but the cool thing is like you're still going to get what you wanted.
Right.
Honestly, I just kind of feel like with your kitchen, it's gonna be so much better than you would have expected, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
is paying for it, so that's like
Right.
somebody.
Yeah. Like literally all this started from my mom's like best friend who's been kind of like a surrogate grandmother to me. She was like, she goes to the home group I go to, and she was like, I was like, yeah, Johnny's gonna try to fix the dishwasher and you know it's leaking and he's gonna like replace the floor. And she's like, your insurance should cover that. And I was like, really? I didn't even know that. And then it turned into demolition of the whole kitchen. And so it already was like way better than I expected because then, you know, our kitchen leaks out into like the flooring goes into the living room and into the hallway and into the guest bedroom. I'm like, they're literally replacing 75% of the floor in our house. And I'm like, maybe I should just see how much it's going to cost to do the others, you know, like just get it all done.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's literally turning, it's snowballing into like this huge remodeling thing that we've been dreaming about actually.
That's
and it's hilarious. It's kind of hilarious because me and Catherine, the leader of the home group, we both talked about that kitchen because she was the one that she's a realtor and she's the one that sold us the house. And we had talked about how we didn't like the island and that our washer machine and dryer were in the kitchen. And she's like we were planning on trying to get that done and changed quickly. But then I lost my job, got pregnant. Like everything happened to where it wasn't going to happen. So she was over earlier in the year and she's like, I'm manifesting with you that this is gonna be different. This is gonna change. And I was like, me too. Literally just a few months after that is when all of this started. All of it. Yeah, but exactly. I wasn't very specific, but at the same time, it's kind of such a funny little theme of my life. It's kind of like, you give me this dream, I'll give you the other. Like, that's kind of what happened with my husband, in the sense that I was in LA, pursuing my acting dream, and God was like, and I couldn't get a job anywhere to stay in LA. And he was like, give me this dream, I'll give you another. 4 months later, meet my husband, start this whole life with him. And that's kind of how this feels, but in a little bit of a smaller way. But you know, it's that act of surrender and letting the manifestations come whenever they want to come. And being open to it and almost like a vessel to hold them until they do come. And I think that's also like why we have a womb, you know, and all that stuff too. I think, yeah, I think our superpower, like men have it too, but I think it definitely a superpower of the feminine role is like manifesting as we manifested humans into this world. You know, we have a actual physical representation of a spiritual ability that we have. And it's amazing.
I agree.
I'm on a really long tangent, but yeah.
No, it was good. It's good. It's relevant. And I love that you brought up to like the timing, because I was gonna say that too. Like we have to also let go of the timing. Not only let go of how something comes in, who's going to be involved, exactly what it's going to look like, but the
Mhm.
timing too.
Yep.
And because, you know, time's a man-made construct, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything on a spiritual level. Um,
And you can get so tied to time.
Gosh, I mean, we see that in the truther community. Hello, time, dates.
Yeah. And there's even just like a spiritual act of untying yourself to time. I've done it a few times and I feel like it has a lot to do with, because like people are like, oh, spiritual growth takes time. And I'm like, it doesn't have to.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you can learn everything that someone has learned in 20 years in a day.
Mhm.
You can, like, if you want to.
Mhm.
If you have that belief, if you're not, because so many people make a covenant with time
Mhm.
and they make a covenant with death
Mhm.
simultaneously. And when you stop allowing those constructs to rule over your life, you can essentially be limitless. And I think that's the goal. But I feel like there's so many layers to that. I've done it to some extent in my like kingdom work, but I think there's more to it because I'm still aging. So there's got to be more to it. For now, you know, all the med bed stuff is stuff that we should be able to do ourselves anyway. So
Yeah. Um, so I'll give a really quick example of my manifestation, I guess, coming in differently than expected. So as most of my subscribers know, that I recently moved like very abruptly, and I had it in my mind that I was going to be going to one location, and I was like, well, I'll tell you all now because I didn't want to say before, but I was like, I'm not going back to my parents' house. I'm not going back. Like it's just the disconnect's too weird, the frequency's too different, blah 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 blah. Um, I ended up at my best friend's first. She was like 30 minutes from my parents, and I was fighting calling my mom to talk, like, because I had a lot of shame around the situation about like having that guy. If you didn't know, like I moved states halfway across the country because I thought I was getting married, and it turned out completely wrong. But I had to go up there and get like major spiritual butt kickings to level up out of and break a bunch of cycles. And I had a lot of guilt and shame around uh I'm very private with my life, especially with my family. And to like let my parents know about that and have this person come down and meet them and blah 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 blah, blah. And then, you know, having grown up in the church, like number one, I was moving with this guy, and we were, you know, cohabitating out of wedlock and this that and the other, and not married. So there's that whole aspect too. And then it fell through, so I was feeling very like shameful and guilty. But and I was like, I just don't want to go. Like I'm going back to my parents is the absolute last thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to do. Where did I end up? Back at my parents' house. But what was so awesome is like I was like, I finally have to, just pick up the phone and call my mom. Like I'm seriously holding back because of fear, and I'm creating these stories in my head about what's going to happen. And it's like I ultimately know that I was led back to my family because, as I mentioned, I'm tying up a lot of cycles. I'm going through a lot of deep spiritual and emotional healing and ancestral healing as well. And I had to go home. I had to go home to embrace, you know, my family and learn to move past the old perceptions. That's not the right word. The
Rhetoric.
old, huh?
The old rhetoric.
Yes, like and the old like this is how it's always been. So this is the interaction is going to go, you know, like if I've
Mhm.
leveled past things, like I should be able to show up differently because I'm healed in a certain area, you
Right.
know, and it's not ultimately, it's about my healing. It's not about them changing and shifting. It's about me showing up differently.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's what's been going on. And it's been good so far. Like I got off the phone with my mom and she was it made me cry because she was so welcoming and loving and accepting, you
Mhm.
know? So I think that's just another message in itself. Like a lot of times we're so fearful of things and it and we hesitate and we don't make a move or we don't make a decision. And a lot of times it's just a smoke monster that we're
Yeah.
scared of,
Yeah.
you know?
That's literally I think Ian Clayton, the guy that I've learned a lot from and I talk about on my channel before, he says his little acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real.
Mhm.
And
True.
maybe it's not his, but he always used to say that. And he's like, it's a reality that doesn't exist that you're like trying to make exist, you
Yeah.
know? And I was like,
Crazy.
that's so true. Like it's, you know, it's false evidence of something appearing real. Like it's not real. It's just in your head. And you're kind of manifesting it the
Yes.
more like you push on it kind of thing. You're pushing it more so into your reality if you think about
Mhm.
it. Because it's like an internal world you're pushing out. But yeah, I think it's super powerful. I think that's a theme for a lot of people is like they're being kind of forced, not forced, but like in a way forced
Yeah.
back back to the places where all the trauma started.
Yes.
And it's so that we can seriously move on and heal from all this stuff. I mean, I talked to you when we were talking about this like last week or so about, or this week maybe, I don't remember, um, about how I literally came back to the neighborhood that
Oh,
all my childhood trauma was in. Like in that house, literally across the street. I came back here willingly because there was something in me that knew that it needed to be reconciled. And that relationship with my father, that relationship with that house, I wasn't afraid of it anymore. And there's a bug. And I, you know, completely responded differently. And it's brought a lot of healing and peace to that inner child that
yeah.
didn't have any when I lived there. So yeah, I mean, I like purposely did it. I like bought a house like in that area. I didn't just like go there. But I know a lot of people that are like having to move back in with family members that, you know, they don't necessarily want to. And you know, because the narrative needs to change. That's, I mean, that's the theme of the entire world right now. The narrative needs to change. Um, so of course it's dripping into, we're all manifesting it. We're all collectively manifesting it together. And that's the power of manifestations. um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's super good and shows a lot of maturity when you can recognize that and go with the flow with it also. So props to you.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy. I know family stuff is hard,
Gosh. Yeah.
real hard.
But you know, it's also it's just beautiful and I know that it's you know, the sooner that I do it, the sooner I'll be done with it. Because
Mhm.
I told you I spent my whole life trying to run from my family, trying to get away. Like left to college, I was like, oh thank God I can breathe now. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I've ended up back at my parents' house this is the fourth time. I'm like, is this for real? Like I feel like spirits like, no, and I'm like being held by
You're
the
not done yet.
like
Yeah.
try it again for real this time. You ready to finish this?
You did a little bit, but kind of half-assed it last time.
Gosh, yeah. You still ran when you went to Pennsylvania. Get back
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing too, is like, you know, with with manifesting, you manifest good things and you manifest bad things.
Mhm.
And the things that you're pushing away are what you're manifesting the
Mhm.
most. um it's almost like, it's funny because like when you're trying to manifest something and you don't let go of it, it doesn't happen because you won't let go of it. But
Yeah.
then when you're trying not to and you're pushing it away, it's almost like you're excelling it. You're like pushing it faster to manifest in your life. And I think a lot of people don't get that. It's like if you have anything that's like you're avoiding or you're, running away from, you're only just creating a bigger monster, like you said, like calling your mom, like just kind of creating this monster in your head. And ended up being not that way at all. And thank God it wasn't, like thank God you didn't manifest that monster. Because you just sucked it up. I'm all for the feminine flow, but there's sometimes when things you need to do stuff that
Yeah.
you don't want to do. Um, and you can kind of tell the difference because there's so much resistance towards it,
Mm-hmm.
and a negative resistance, not I just don't feel like that's right now. It's a negative one instead of a maybe not right now kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
there's a
That,
difference.
that's how I identify things that I need to do. I'm like, why
Yeah.
am I freaking procrastinating on this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is exactly what I need to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I
Yep.
doing this? And there's that saying, what we resist persists. There's
Yep.
that one. So that's like what you're talking about, like pushing things away. And then where focus goes, energy flows is
Yeah.
also another one. It's essentially the same thing. Where
Yeah.
if we the whole fear thing, if we're fearful of something and we're fearful and blah blah blah, we're putting that energy in, and it's like we're building more blocks and like making it more that abstract
Mm-hmm.
idea more solid and physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that lesson in film school, which is hilarious. I got way more healing in film school than most anyone I knew that actually went to like a ministry school or anything like that. Like
Wow.
it was crazy. I learned that lesson. I was like so afraid to do like comedy improv because I just didn't like think what they thought was funny was funny.
Uh,
And so instead of shying away from doing it, I would be the first to volunteer. Anytime I felt scared or afraid or nervous to do anything, first to volunteer. I was always the first one up there because then I was like, I don't have anybody to compare it to,
yeah.
first of all. And I just need to get it over with because I don't want to do it. And I need to push myself, you know, to just accept whatever happens, happens and not feel super controlled by it. Because that was why I didn't like comedy improv, was because you had to make up your own script basically on the spot. And I loved having a script. It felt like a security blanket to me. I wasn't good at improving at all. And I ended up getting into this flow of like literally it flowing into everything that I did. Anything I was scared of, I would do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And it was a great lesson for the rest of my life. I'm like super thankful for that film school. Yeah, because I got tons of healing out of that,
That's
like
awesome.
therapy, like good therapy. We even did Tai Chi, so there was like energy moving and everything. Like, it
That's
was great.
cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
Super powerful.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we share some things
Yeah.
of substance here.
Yeah.
Before we finish though, I want to read the Serenity Prayer one more time just for everybody.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Hmm.
So I would love to challenge you all to really take time to assess those things in your life. What are you holding on to tightly to? What can you step up and be like in more authority of over your life? Like where can you exhibit more power in your life? And get out of the victim mentality and the life just happens to me kind of thing, or just waiting for other people to do stuff. And then know the difference, know that there's a delicate balance between the doing and then the letting go, and just
Hmm.
allowing the universe, God, creator, source, whoever, to be limitless in your life. and be powerful and know that miracles are a normal thing in your life. And like, I think we're taught that,
how does it get better?
Yes, how does it get better? Celebrating the small victories when the like even the smallest thing that happens, remember to acknowledge it, because you're literally placing orders into the universe to bring more things to celebrate. And it has no option other than to fill your order.
You're setting the bar every time.
Yes.
Higher and higher.
So good thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing happen.
Good thing happen to you. You make good thing happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of that, that actually goes right on track with what I was gonna say. My neighbor gave me a money tree today.
Yeah.
And I was like, how does it get better? Like, and I put it in my feng shui corner of my house.
I was gonna ask, did you put it in the corner?
The kitchen that's being remodeled, it's in the windowsill. Because that's my feng shui corner of money or wealth or whatever. And then I was like, how does it get better? This beautiful money tree. Awesome. Let it be a representation. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
How doeth get better?
How doth it get better?
I dare say.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh. Lizelle.
Wait, no, what did you call me? You called me Lizeth? Lizeth? Wait, what was it? Liz Lil. Okay, yeah.
I was like, girl, I was like, hey, Lizelle.
Lizelle.
Like, that's a new one.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, girl. Let me tell you something, okay?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for another great show.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad we got to do this.
You all, please remember to like our videos on both channels, okay? Liz's stuff is going to be linked beneath as always. Like, share for somebody who you think this message would be beneficial for, and comment. We love to hear from you all. And oh, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like, what?
What are you doing?
Why you already subscribed yet?
Get on it.
Yeah, cool. So we will be seeing you all on the next one. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, get on it.
Cool, you all. Let's set these intentions and let's manifest beautiful, the most like high frequency, powerful versions of ourselves and most like amazing lives that we can. Like, you all have the authority and the power to do that. So please step into it. All right, everybody, you are sovereign, powerful, worthy, and loved. Please remember that. Did I cut you off?
No.
Okay.
I just take a deep breath. Pregnancy. Gotta take deep breath every once in a while.
All right, you all. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.